MontanaSports.com. This is MTN Sports Extra.
Hello everyone and welcome to the MTN Sports Extra. It's our half-hour weekly sports show featuring some of the best high school highlights from Friday night, as well as previews for the college football games coming up on Saturday for Montana and Montana State. Let's get things started.
Happy Friday, everybody. Welcome to Vigilante Stadium, home of the Helena High Bengals, playing host to the Kalispell Glacier WOLFPACK. Two teams in the Western AA vying for those playoff spots come the end of the season. Let's get to the highlights.
Hardly a minute into this game and the Bengals making a statement. Caden Hewitt tucks and runs, evading defenders, and he's going to take it all the way to the house from about 60 yards out. It's 7-0 Bengals early. Very next possession, the Wolfpack respond. Gage Slider hits Jake Turner over the middle for the score. It's 7-7 with about 8 minutes left in the first quarter. But the Bengals went on a tear from there. Hewitt evading a few defenders from the Wolfpack. Off-balance throw finds Chase McGurn over the middle. McGurn wrapped up, but the legs churning into the end zone. It's 14-7. And next possession for the Wolfpack. Slider rolling to his right, looking to throw. Picked off by Coulter Petrie for Helena High. That would turn into a touchdown. The Bengals would add another one after that. It's 28-7. Final minutes of the first half. Slider finds Turner over the middle. Turner off and running. He finds the end zone, 28-14 at the half. And here is your final score. Sam Hoyle, MTN Sports.
We had crosstown football here in the Garden City on Friday night as Big Sky and Hellgate met up in a matchup that could go a long way in determining playoff seeding in the Class AA playoff race. A 1-yard touchdown run from Cole Sandberg on their first play from scrimmage gave Big Sky an early 7-0 lead. Now it's the Knights driving again. Connor Dick takes the snap and airs it out to Ian Finch, who makes the fingertip grab, 27-yard touchdown, and this one is tied 7-7. And it didn't take long for Hellgate to strike again. Dick takes the snap, rolls to his left, and finds Finch again. He catches it, toes the sideline, avoids the defense, and he is gone. 75 yards to the house, 14-7 Knights. Then it's Big Sky with the answer. Caleb Wren takes the snap, and he finds Trey Reed in the corner, who makes the catch and sneaks into the end zone for the 8-yard score, and this one is tied 14-14 in the second quarter. Hellgate again taking the lead as running back Jacob Swetland takes the handoff and bounces to the outside for a 4-yard score to make it 21-14 Knights. Big Sky heads into halftime up 22-21 after Wren finds Isaac Ayers and they convert the 2-point conversion. No scoring in the third quarter, so let's jump to the fourth, and it's Colby Jensen who takes the counter and he scores from 20 yards out to give Big Sky some breathing room. Then it's Sandberg again from 2 yards out to make it 35-21 Eagles. And here's a look at your final score from MCPS Stadium. Reporting in Missoula, Kyle Hansen, MTN Sports.
I'm out here at Naranche Stadium where the Butte High Bulldogs are looking for a little payback as they get set to host Helena Capital. The last time these two teams met was in the first round of the 2020 playoffs. The Bruins left this field as victorious while the Bulldogs headed into the offseason earlier than they would have liked. But Butte is on a hot streak, and tonight against Capital, they look for their 5th straight win. Butte's third play of the game, Jace Stenson, hit as he throws. It's up for grabs and picked off by Nick Michelotti to give Capital an early jolt. Bruins go 3 and out on the ensuing drive, but Capital's defense shows up again, forcing a fumble from Cameron Guernsey to again halt the Bulldogs. And now Capital's offense ready to get to work. Joey Michelotti hits Tom Carter here for the nice gain. And a few plays later, Michelotti hits Eric Cockle from 17 yards out for the touchdown. Bruins up 7-0 and there's more to come. Second quarter, Nick Michelotti with another nice catch and run to set up Capital in the red zone. And now the Bruins with some misdirection that fools everyone. And getting wide open for the 10-yard touchdown is Tyler Kovic. Capital goes up 14-0. Out of the gun, that's Dylan Graham right up the gut, and he's in from 13 yards out to put Capital up 21-3 before the half. Final score, Helena Capital 43, Butte 3. In Butte, Luke Shelton, MTN Sports.
Good evening, everybody. Alec Boffinger here at Dallas Stadium for some crosstown football action between Billings Skyview and Billings West. Now, West has been on a roll since its season opening loss to Missoula Sentinel, winning 3 in a row and giving up just 3 points in the process. West keeping that momentum rolling tonight. Michael De Leon in from a yard out early on. And the Golden Bears were just getting started. Newly minted Bobcat Taco Dowler taking the screen pass and weaving through traffic before extending for 6 more. And then back to De Leon in the power running game. He waltzes in for his second score of the night. The defense was relentless from West once again this evening. Here's Riley Bergeson laying out for the interception. And that sets up another score for a Montana State commit. This time it's Caden Dowler as he takes the screen pass, puts his foot in the ground, and see you later. 44 yards for Dowler. West is up 28-0. Why not a little bit more from the Dowler brothers? This time back to Taco. Catches the swing pass from Clutch in the backfield and finds his way into the end zone yet again. A little icing on the cake for West here. On fourth down, Clutch airs it out, and Bergeson lays out for it in the end zone as West steamrolls Skyview to stay perfect in Eastern AA play. For MTN Sports, I'm Alec Boffinger.
There's more action on the way when MTN Sports Extra continues after this. We're back with more MTN Sports Extra.
Polson is taking on Columbia Falls at home tonight, and these are two teams clicking on offense, just doing it in different ways. Columbia Falls is dedicated to its run game, averaging 150 yards per game, while Polson has been airing it out, averaging 392 passing yards per game. Polson's Jarrett Wilson threw for 162 yards just in the first half. Pirates' first possession of the half, Wilson goes to Coulter Graham, who had 5 catches for 80 yards in the first half. Second down, Wilson goes to Fisher for the 4-yard touchdown, putting the Pirates on the board 7-0. Columbia Falls is 3rd and 5, and Schweikert gets picked off by Dawson Dumont, who makes it all the way to the 35-yard line. The Pirates continue to take advantage. Wilson goes to Fisher for the 6-yard touchdown. Pirates up 14-0. Polson did bring their run game tonight. This drive starts with a 26-yard carry by Wilson. Then Coulter Graham will follow that right up with a 25-yard carry. Fourth down, Pirates go for the 23-yard field goal, and Pirates up 17-0 at the half. Here's a look at your final score. Next week, Columbia Falls will be taking on Browning at home, and Polson will be taking on Havre.
The story in the Garden City tonight is bigger than any football game or its outcome. BIGFORK playing with heavy hearts tonight against Missoula Loyola after learning just days ago of the tragic passing of their friend and teammate, Dane Hansen.
Teammates honoring Dane with his initials and number 24. Coach Jim Benn visibly emotional during the playing of the national anthem. And with emotions running high, BIGFORK came out strong. First possession for the Vikings, they give it to Levi Taylor, and Levi does the rest. 54-yard score, BIGFORK up 7-0. After a Loyola 3-and-out, BIGFORK again. This time, check out the catch by Isaac Epperly. Somehow comes down with it. That led to a 2-yard score. It's 14-0 Vikings. Later in the first, Rams driving. Keenan Russell finds Jake Jamison, but Patrick Wallen forces the turnover, and it ends up in the hands of Jackson Abney, who returns at 85 yards for the score. It's 21-0. Vikings move to 5-0 in honor of their teammate, friend, and brother, Dane Hansen.
We talk a lot about how to handle any event, and a response determines the outcome. And I'm really proud of how our kids responded, and they're hurting, and it showed that they were focused, and they were able to just to play.
Find more highlights along with in-depth sports coverage anytime at montanasports.com.
MTN Grizz Central is sponsored by Bob Wards.
This weekend, we have a top 6 Big Sky Conference football matchup coming our way out west. It's a rare early regular season matchup that carries this much weight, as the 3-0 Montana Grizzlies get set to hit the road to Cheney to take on the 4-0 Eastern Washington Eagles. And on Saturday night down at the Inferno, this game has all of the elements to shape up as an instant college football classic.
It's the old paradox of the unstoppable force meeting the immovable object. Who wins? In the case of Montana and Eastern Washington, that will all be decided on Saturday night as the top offense in the conference in the Eagles meets the top defense in the Grizzlies.
Well, they do a nice job on that side of the ball. They're a skilled group of guys, and kind of like what I said, they're going to put us in situations where either we're going to make a play or they're going to make a play. So it's going to be a big week for us, and I'm excited for the challenge.
The catalyst behind that offense is quarterback Eric Berrier, the preseason pick for Offensive Player of the Year in the Big Sky, and a player who has already won the Player of the Week award 3 times this season. Through 4 games, Berrier has already thrown for 16 touchdowns and almost 1,700 yards, as the Eagles have beaten FBS UNLV this year, as well as scored 50-plus points in their last 3 games.
He's an accurate thrower downfield is probably his strongest thing. So I think when you're in coverage and, whether it's man or zone, everything, when you get downfield, it's all man. You got to be tight in coverage because he's an accurate thrower downfield.
Montana's defense will be tasked with halting that momentum with a unit that has allowed just 14 points this season and has forced 8 turnovers and racked up 13 sacks. The game itself will be played on Eastern's infamous red turf, a place that has treated the Eagles well since its implementation in 2010. The Eagles are 5-0 against UM in Cheney since then and are currently riding an 18-game home winning streak. The stage is set for the national spotlight as well, with an 8:30 p.m. kickoff time, and only one team will head into the early Sunday morning hours with their record still unblemished.
We want to go out there, execute the best way we can, showcase our team in all 3 phases, and I just feel like if we could do that, no matter what stage it's on, it'll be good for our team, so I feel like we'll go out there and do that.
Reporting in Missoula, Kyle Hansen, MTN Sports.
Montana State kicks off game number 5 on Saturday at 1 p.m. and we heard from Bobcats head coach Brent Vigen earlier this week for his thoughts on their opponent, the 2-2 Northern Colorado Bears.
We could look at their scores, line them up, look at their stats, and say whatever, but they're coming off a big win, and we gotta be prepared for their best shot.
Northern Colorado is coming off an overtime win over Northern Arizona, but according to Vigen, their team still finding their identity.
To even think anything resembles what they were in 19 would be a real mistake.
Bears have a new head coach this season, hired in 2020, 3-time Super Bowl champion Ed McCaffrey now leads the team.
Coach McCaffrey brings a wealth of experience from his playing days, his coaching days at Valor Christian. They got some really explosive players on offense, running backs, receivers, and they got some really skilled guys on defense.
Starting at quarterback for the Bears is Ed's son, Dylan McCaffrey, who transferred from Michigan and was one of the top-ranked quarterbacks coming out of high school.
Dylan's got a whole bunch of talent. I think he's more of a passer than a runner, but he's more than capable of making some plays with his athleticism, and he's got some really good targets.
The Northern Colorado offense is more of a traditional offense, led by offensive coordinator Max McCaffrey, who is also Ed's son.
Dylan can make a bunch of plays with his arm in particular. Really good running back. A couple of those transfers are at the receiver position, really good size guys.
On defense, the Bears run a 3-3-5 stack under new defensive coordinator Scott Darnell, who coached with McCaffrey at the high school level.
Play a lot of zone. You have to be patient, take what they give you. That's really, it's really a bend but don't break type of philosophy.
Be sure to tune in at 5:30 and 10 on Saturday for full highlights of the game. In Bozeman, John Miller, MTN Sports.
Find more highlights along with in-depth sports coverage anytime at montanasports.com. We're back with more MTN Sports Extra.
Day 2 of the State AA Golf Tournament teed off late this morning due to frost, but even though the colder temperatures are starting to creep in, West Bella Johnson continues to heat up. She came into Friday with a commanding 11-shot lead and finished off the day as a state champion. Before celebrating her first state title, Friday did present a few challenges. On the front nine, not only did the sophomore shoot 5 above par, but Butte's Cody Hoagland slowly chipped away to bring the match within 5 strokes. However, Johnson set herself up for success with this shot on hole 14, eventually leading to this short putt for par. With a bogey from Hoagland, she'd lead the pack by 6 and coast on to win the individual title with a score of 3 over par through 2 days, while also propelling West to their first team championship since 2014.
It feels amazing. Like, team-wise, I'm a lot more excited as a team that we won than individually, because as a team we've worked really hard to get where we are and have an undefeated season.
And on the boys' side, it was a battle of the brothers between Jordan and Justice Berg. Both were tied at 1 under coming into Friday, but Jordan played the match of his life. On hole 16, a par 5 387-yard green, he quickly found himself just feet away from sinking in an eagle. That shot gave him a 4-stroke lead over his brother, who already had 2 individual state titles under his belt. But here he is on hole 18, sinking in the long birdie to secure his first ever individual state championship with a score of 7 under. The Raptors as a whole would also go on to win the school's first ever team title.
To end it that way was, you can't get any better than that for sure. To win it for myself and for the team to win is just, it's amazing. Honestly, the way he played, I am perfectly fine coming runner-up. You know, I'm a competitor, so I always strive for first, but yeah, I'm super proud for Jordan. He played great golf, so he definitely deserved to win, so it's good to see him pull it off.
Full results from the State AA Golf Tournament can be found on our website at montanasports.com. In Bozeman, Ashley Washburn, MTN Sports.
It's not about rebuilding, but reloading for the Thompson Falls Blue Hawks. Thompson Falls is off to a 5-0 start in 2021 as one of the top 8-man teams in the state, showing once again they expect to be contenders year in and year out.
Thompson Falls lost 7 seniors from last year's playoff team. Losing a number like that oftentimes decimates small-town programs the following season, but not the Blue Hawks in 2021.
We knew we were just as good, if not better. We reloaded with athletes, and honestly, I think we're hungrier than last year. I think we're more prepared. Some of these guys maybe were on the sidelines past 2 years, and we made some playoff runs, and we're ready to go.
After flying under the radar to start the season, Thompson Falls is off to a 5-0 start and has outscored opponents 260 to 38. Trey Tilmoni is the lone returning starter for the Blue Hawks, but experience late in games last year has helped prepare this year's team.
Having only one guy back from last year, I think having the rest of the guys, after last year, having all the blowouts, having guys play after the blowouts, having our JV guys coming in, stepping those guys up after every game is a big help. Like today's game, like those kids are gonna be playing next year a lot, so I think that's a big help.
So when they grow up and they're playing together, you know, the seniors kind of took over last year, but you know, their friends kind of were behind them and they wanted to play a little bit more, so you know, they see what success they had and they want to mimic it, so they played together. It comes down to the off season, and that's where they kind of got it. I want that success. I want those stickers on that helmet, so I want to be like them, if not better, and I think that we're getting there.
With 9 seniors on this year's team and 35 total players in the program, Thompson Falls is solidifying itself as a perennial 8-man contender in just its 3rd year at that level. Going forward, it's about continuing that upward movement.
A big thing is tradition, I think. Everyone's looking up to those next guys in the class above them, and they're wanting to be just like that class, just keep getting better.
Reporting in Seeley Lake, Kyle Hansen, MTN Sports.
Go Grizz, man. Go Grizz.
We're back with more MTN Sports Extra.
The Polson Pirates quarterback Jarrett Wilson is on track for a record-breaking season, averaging just over 384 yards per game. But like any quarterback would tell you, his stat line would look very different if it wasn't for his O-line.
Good call! Good call!
They're great. They work their butts off every game, and obviously we couldn't be doing what we're doing without them. I'm very grateful for those guys, and I'm excited to see what they'll do as the season moves on.
One of us screws up, we all screw up, so I'm not going to be the one to screw up. No, my job is to protect Jarrett, and I'm going to do it well.
Set, go!
And this front line has been doing it well, actually better than well. Of 139 passing attempts for the Pirates, the offensive line has given up just 4 sacks so far this season. Offensive line coach Pat Danley says a lot of their success this season comes from what they worked on in the offseason.
Well, I guess the biggest thing is we wanted to be more physical. Sometimes when you're a pass-first offense like us, you have a tendency to be a little bit passive, and so it was really one of the things that all of us coaches wanted to do was make sure we were more physical this year. We were way too passive last year.
That passiveness hasn't completely gone away, however, at least off the field. Every offensive lineman at every level will tell you the one thing they don't want is attention. As good as they are at deflecting defenses, they're just as good at deflecting compliments.
I do think they've bought into trying to be a unit, and sometimes playing offensive line is not necessarily the glory position, and you don't get a lot of credit, and so we have to play for each other.
Tomorrow, Jarrett Wilson and his offensive line will be taking on Columbia Falls at home. Reporting in Polson, Alexa Belcastro, MTN Sports.
As always, thanks everyone for checking out the MTN Sports Extra right here on the KPAX streaming app. And of course, if you're looking for even more sports content from across the state, visit montanasports.com. Have a great weekend, everyone.